Morning Year 3, hope you're all okay. Shame about the weather today, but at least we've got a good book to keep us going. So yesterday we read up to page 74. Lila is in the grotto and she has just met the fire fiend. So let's find out what happens next.
Thousands of fire ants scattered as he landed, and even the blazing flames bowed down to him. So did Lila. In a voice like the roar of a forest fire, Razvani spoke. "By what right have you come to my grotto?" She swallowed hard. It was difficult to breathe, because she seemed to be taking fire into her lungs as well as air. "I want to be a firework maker," she managed to say. He laughed a great laugh. "You? Never! And what do you want from me?" "Royal sulphur?" she gasped. At that, he slapped his sides and laughed even harder, and a chorus of jeers and shrieks of merriment burst from all of the fire ants. Jeers. So if you jeer at someone, you're rude to them. You probably insult them in quite a loud, unfriendly way. "Royal sulphur? Did you hear that? Oh, that's good. That's funny. Well, speak, girl. Have you the 3 gifts?" Leela could only shrug and shake her head. She could hardly speak. "I don't know what they are," she said. "So what were you going to exchange for the royal sulphur?" he roared. "I don't know." "You were going to give nothing in exchange?" She had nothing to say. She bowed her head. "Well, you've come this far," said the fire fiend, "and there's no going back. Now you're here, you must walk in the flames, like every other firework maker. I expect you brought some magic water from my cousin the goddess of the lake. You've brought nothing for me, but I don't suppose you've forgotten to take care of yourself. Better drink it quickly." "I've got nothing," Lila gasped. "I didn't know about the magic water, or the 3 gifts. I just wanted to be a firework maker. And I'll be a good one, Razvani. I invented self-igniting crackle dragons and shimmering coins. I've learnt everything my father could teach me. It's all I want, to be a firework maker like him." But Razvani merely laughed. "Show her the ghosts!" he cried, and clapped his blazing hands. Instantly, a crack shivered its way down the rock wall, and out of the opening came a procession of ghosts, each attended by fire demons. Procession. So they're coming out of the wall and there's lots of them. So procession is like a group of people that move together in a long line. The ghosts were so pale and transparent that Lila could hardly see them, but she heard them wailing. "Beware! Look at me! I came without the 3 gifts. Alas, take warning from me. I hadn't worked at the craft and I wasn't ready. Maiden, turn back! I was arrogant and headstrong. I didn't seek the water from the goddess and I perished in the flames." So if somebody is arrogant, it's an adjective that describes people that sort of think they're better than other people. So this person thought they were better than being prepared for Razvani. Wailing and weeping, the ghosts passed across the lake of fire and vanished into a crack in the opposite wall. "That's what happens to those who don't come prepared," said Razvani. "But now you must submit yourself as they did. Walk into my flames, Lila. You have come for the royal sulphur. Receive it from my hands." And he laughed louder and spun in a rapid dance, stamping his feet in a wide circle and causing a ring of fire to blaze up around him. Through the lashing red and yellow and orange, his face seemed to waver and flicker, but his voice rang out clearly over the roar and the crackle. "You want to be a firework maker? Walk into my flames. Your father did it in his time, and so did every artist in fire. This is what you've come for. Why are you waiting?" She was terribly afraid, but she knew that she must do it. She would rather be a ghost than go back empty-handed and fail at the one thing she had ever wanted. So she took one step forward, and then another, and her poor feet burned and blistered, so that she cried out loud. Then she took another step, and when she knew she could bear it no longer, she heard a great sound behind her, like a mighty trumpet, and through the blaze a voice was shouting, "Lila, the water! Take it! Take it!" And there was a small figure beside her, thrusting something into her hands. A gourd! A drinking gourd with a clasp that she tore off, before lifting it to her parched lips and drinking deep. So a gourd, I'm guessing from what I read here, is a bit like a flask. Let's look at a picture of a gourd. All at once, a marvellous coolness spread through her body and down to the tips of her toes. The pain vanished, and the dryness in her throat and lungs was soothed and moistened. At the entrance to the cave behind her, she could see Chulak, shrinking back and covering his face from the heat, and she could see Hamlet fanning himself with his ears. But she was in the heart of the fire, facing Razvani once again, and the flames were harmless now. They played like fountains of light. They rushed up her legs and arms and across her face like darting birds, and she felt light and joyful, as if she were a flame herself, dancing with pure energy and joy. "So you have done it," Razvani said to her. "Welcome to the flames, Leela." "And the royal sulphur?" she said. "Ah, when you reach the heart of the fire, all your illusions vanish. Didn't your father tell you that?" Illusions. So an illusion is something that seems to be there, but it doesn't really exist. So it's an idea that you think is true, but actually isn't. Illusions? I don't understand. The royal sulphur doesn't exist, Lila. There is no such thing. Then how can I be a firework maker? I thought every firework maker needed some royal sulphur to become a true artist. Illusions, Lila. Fire burns away all our illusions. The world itself is all illusion. Everything that exists flickers like a flame for a moment and then vanishes. The only thing that lasts is change itself. There is no royal sulphur, an illusion. Everything outside the fire is illusion. But the three gifts, I don't understand. What are the three gifts, Razvani? Whatever they are, you must have brought them to me, he said. And that was the last thing she heard from him. As he said that, he dwindled away, and the lake of fire darkened and became red rock, and then just rock. And all the myriad fire imps became little feeble sparks that floated aimlessly for a second, and sank, and went out at once. So a myriad is sort of a countless number of things. It's a great number of things. The grotto was bare again. Lila turned away from where the fire had been. She was dazed and disappointed, calm and curious, pleased and puzzled. In fact, she didn't know what she felt or who she was for a moment. But then she saw Chulak and ran to him. "Chulak, you saved my life, and you're hurt, you're burned. Let me help you." He was shaking his head and tugging at her hand. "Don't waste any time," he said. "We've got to hurry. Tell her as we go, Hamlet." They stumbled out of the grotto into the pale light of dawn, and Hamlet said, "I'm sorry, Lila. I heard the birds talking at the foot of the mountain, and they said, 'Look, the white elephant, that's the very one who escaped from the city.' And I asked the bird what he knew, and he said, 'The firework maker helped you to escape. Someone saw and told the king, and now Lauchend has been arrested, and he's going to be executed.'" Executed. Sounds like something terrible is going to happen to him, doesn't it? So if you're executed, it actually means you're going to be killed as a punishment for the crime. Then he flew away to tell the other birds. "Lila, we've got to go back as fast as we can. Don't waste time blaming anyone. Get on my back and hold tight." So, in a torment of fear that put Rizvani in the royal sofa and the 3 gifts completely out of her mind, Lila clambered up next to Chulak on the elephant's back and held on tight as Hamlet began to slither down the mountain in the light of dawn. We're going to stop there for today.